Well, welcome, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Cooking in the Community Kitchen, where we cook fabulous recipes and have flavorful conversations. Please welcome me and my guest, Alison Lapchuk from 100 Women Who Care. And today we have exciting recipes to create so that we can have some holiday magic. I think I'm all about preparing and cooking as much as I can ahead of the holidays, and even when we have guests, because I know that that takes my stress level sort of from there to there. So I'm so glad you could come and help me, and as we cook some Christmas dips. And of course, the majority of the ingredients we use today will be in the Good Food Box for the month of December. So Alison, if you'd like to just tell me a little bit about what you've got going here, please.
Yes, so I'm making the onion dip today. I'm really excited. And by the way, it's an honor and a privilege for me to be here, so thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.
You've prepped this for me so beautifully. Do you want me to tell you everything?
Yes,
all
please.
The proportions? So we have 4 ounces of cream cheese. That's like half a brick.
Right.
We've got half a cup of sour cream that's going to go in, and half a cup of Miracle Whip, and just a quarter of a teaspoon of cayenne, and a little bit of salt and pepper.
Perfect, perfect.
Easy peasy.
Well, I think if you want to add your items into here and the cayenne and whatever, then I'm going to just briefly talk about the spinach dip. So we decided to do a couple of different things here for our holiday special. And so another of the ingredients in the Good Food Box will be fresh spinach. And I had actually never made spinach dip with fresh spinach, but I thought, hey, you know, I'm old but not too old to try new things. So in this handy dandy mixer, I have the red onion, I've got water chestnuts, I've got the Knorr vegetable dry soup mix, and then I've got 1 cup of sour cream, 1 cup of Miracle Whip, mayonnaise, and then I'm going to just rough chop the spinach and I'm going to add it into here. And I think what I love about these mixers or handy gadgets, let's hope I can get this open, yes, there we go, is that it can be a one dish dip. So we're not having to use everything from our kitchen and have this great big horrific mess. So I did wash the tops of this, and like I say, I'm going to just do a rough chop. And it is incredible that how that this will, along with probably the soup mix, it just will go lovely into the dip. The dip needs to sit probably for about 2 hours in the fridge just to get all the beautiful flavors going through. Well, I won't chop the little piece of plastic in there, I promise. And then we'll rough chop this, give it a stir, and then we're done. And if by chance you don't have the fresh spinach on hand, feel free just to use the packaged frozen spinach. It comes in 2, so I like to freeze one and mark one or use one. It does need a little bit of paper towel or whatever, just so that you don't have a lot of extra moisture in your dip. So I'm going to add this quickly into here, give it a stir, and then we are ready to roll. So we're just like literally cooking with gas here. And while if I don't make too much noise here, Alison, I would just love to have you talk a little bit about the meeting with that your mother-in-law took to.
Oh, yes.
In Windsor, and then how the 100 Women really started in Calgary, please.
Yeah, so actually I had decided to stay at home after I had my second little boy. I decided to leave the workforce and stay at home. So 6 months after that, we were visiting Windsor, visiting my in-laws, and my mother-in-law said, I want to take you to this meeting. It's right up your alley. You're going to love it. And it was a 100 Women Who Care meeting. It was in Windsor, the Windsor Essex chapter.
Okay.
And it was like it lit a fire in me. The lights went on, and I was like, this is so perfect, because you know, we all want to give back,
exactly.
But what we lack is the time,
right?
And that space. to just focus on that thing. And there was such a power in the inspiring stories that were shared, learning about community efforts, and being able to give your $100 and have it turn into $10,000.
Exactly.
So
it's an investment that you just can't even believe at that point, right?
yeah, and it was all done in an hour. It was fun. We all had wine and, you know, chatted, and it was like, it was so perfect. So I went right up to the founders and I was like, hey, is this in Calgary? Like, how can I do this? Like, we need this.
Right.
We had just been through the floods and everything, and I knew Calgary had the kind of people.
Right.
I mean, we all know that anyway, but the floods really
Brought out the best. Exactly.
It did. It brought people out, and you could see how much of a small town community this big million-person city really is.
Right.
Anyway, so I just said, what do I need? What do I need to get started? And those founders helped me, and so did Twee Brown, who started the 100 Women Who Care in London, Ontario.
Okay.
She mentored me, and I just got going.
Oh, excellent.
So our chapter was the first in all of Western Canada. There was we were the 5th chapter in all of Canada.
Okay.
And just to put that in perspective, there's over 200 today.
Right.
In Canada.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I just got going, and I started doing the things I had to do, starting with picking a date.
Right.
For our first meeting, which was November 4th, 2013.
And so we're just about ready to celebrate 8 years. Will be this next episode. And Alison also has just a spectacular partner in the 100 Women, and her name is Christy. And I love it when we spoke, because you told me that how you were looking for someone that had the same commitment, but also a different set of gifts, I guess, to bring to make the two of you such a beautiful team. And I think that there's that lovely, you can see the commitment, you can see the compassion, but you can also see the attention to the detail, that you want this to be really, really an amazing experience for all the women that do sign on as members. And we're going to actually put a little kit out here for the membership drive before the Tuesday meeting. And I think that, you know, when I go back to my first meeting, it was still when we were in person. I had been assigned one of your ladies in waiting. She had called me to see that I had registered and I knew where I was going. She was going to meet me at the table. She was going to greet me. And so it just felt like I was walking into this big, beautiful sisterhood. And I will never forget that first feeling. So I'm going to scooch back to this for 1 minute, and then so you can see that we have it looks very spinachy, and we are ready then to put this into the refrigerator so that we can enjoy this a little bit later. And like I say, about 2 hours is the best time.
We'll get back to the rest of the recipe in a moment, but first I want to quickly share something with you. Here in Alberta, 1 in 10 families struggle with food insecurity. That means 10% of our population has to make the hard decision between whether to pay their rent or buy groceries. No one should have to make that choice or wonder where their next meal is going to come from. The Community Kitchen started the Good Food Box program 20 plus years ago, and for as little as $25, anyone can purchase a 20 to 25 pound box of fresh fruits and vegetables for their family. The savings that we are able to provide, thanks to our produce partners, is about 50% of the price you would pay at the grocery store. But unfortunately, that sometimes still isn't quite enough. If you would like to make a donation and gift a Good Food Box to a family in need, visit the link in the description below and make a donation today. Help us make sure that families in Alberta don't have to choose between paying their rent or paying for groceries. If you would like to learn more about how you can purchase a Good Food Box for yourself or someone you know, we will also have a link to the Good Food Box program in the description below. On behalf of everyone at the Community Kitchen, thank you in advance for your generosity. Now, let's get back to the show.
Our other third recipe in our Good Food Box this week is going to be about potatoes, because we know that we always have the potatoes, and sometimes this week, as big potatoes did not come in, so we're going to do the smaller ones. And actually, I was working with these at home, and I found that these smaller ones were actually much easier to work with than the larger potato. But it's whatever you want and whatever you also have available, right? And so I might get you, Alison, when I'm going to scoop these out, and then maybe I'll bring this over and I will ask if you will just put the bacon in here for me, please.
I'd be happy to.
All right, and here's the bacon. And so I just used my small scoop, and I scooped them out. There you go. And then I did put a little bit, and you know what, just before you add that, I'm going to show our viewers just a small trick, because I was at H&W Produce, and I said to one of the young gentlemen that was helping me pick up the produce, and we do thank them so much for the produce and the vegetables that are used for our filming. And I said to him, so what makes a good potato skin to you? And he said, well, my mom used to make them for us, but he said, I like a little bit of heat. So I said, okay, so what does a little bit of heat mean to you? And so he says, well, I think that they should actually have some jalapenos or whatever. So I said, okay, well, you know what? I will call these then Alison and Leon's potato skins, and that's just what we'll do. So I chopped up, I seeded and chopped, wearing gloves, some jalapeno peppers and a little bit of garlic. So then what I did is I took the, I'd already cooked the bacon, so I added my jalapenos and my garlic to the bacon, and then I did this. I brushed the outsides, and I brushed a little bit of this on the inside so that we would get that little bit of subtle heat. So I'm going to do that one.
That's an awesome trick.
Exactly. And so it makes the skin really nice, and it gives you just that little nice hint of a little bit of heat. So if I can trouble you, a little more crispy, and then I will give you the cheese as well, please, if you will.
All right.
And like I say, I felt the scoop was easier than trying to do it with a knife, because it holds well in your hand. You can make this, I think, quite quick. And even when people are maybe a little more concerned about not having everyone touch their food, this is a good way too, just to pop it on a plate, and you can have one individually, and away you go. And hopefully your guests will just really enjoy this. And obviously, if you've got people coming that, you know, a little bit of heat is not their thing, you can totally skip this. But maybe then what I would do is just use some of the bacon fat and still put a little bit on the inside and a little bit on the outside. Thank you so much. What a good helper.
So welcome. I can't wait to make these with my kids at home.
Exactly.
They love using, I have those in various sizes, and
yes,
they love using them.
Well, they are
it's
so
fun.
handy, right? And they are super handy. Well, maybe I'll put that one over there for you. Well, I think that this is really good teamwork, and this is just, it does remind me of the 100 Women. What I love is that, as Alison said, 3 charities then are picked, and these ladies then have about 3 minutes to give a pitch or their best story about 100 Women and where the monies would go to for the donation. And then there's a little bit of time also where the guests can ask questions. And so the people that do present, you can feel their passion so much for their charity. And I think that that is what I love, is that you just know. And plus also, I have lived in Calgary for 40 years, and there was lots of charities that I actually never even knew existed in our city. So I love the awareness that that also brings to the community.
There are over 2,000 registered charities in just Calgary.
Right.
So don't feel bad that you don't know them all.
Yes, exactly,
But
exactly.
this gives what we're really about. It's a grassroots gathering of a giving circle, right?
Right.
And what Christy and I are so passionate about is empowering our members, who are just wonderful women, by giving them the power of using their voice if they wish. You do not ever have to be a nominator speaker. But if you do, it's such an amazing experience to know that stepping out of your comfort zone and advocating for a cause you really care about could end up in a $20,000 check.
I know.
For that charity. And that's an incredible feeling. And of course, all of our members have the ability to use their vote to make that happen as well. And of course, their dollars. You know, when was the last time you gave $100 and it turned into $20,000 and you got to hear how it was used?
Yeah.
It's a really inspiring group to be a part of, and we are just part of it. We'd be nothing without you guys.
Oh, perfect. Well, I guess if we were thinking of the reverse, my husband could probably tell you how I could turn $20,000 into $100. But anyways, it is just wonderful. When you watch the meetings right now are on Zoom, and you have to watch with your tissues because there is so many beautiful stories going on. And it's so hard to pick when it does come, where you get to vote on one of the three that is spoken. It's a really, really tough call as to, and who am I really going to pick?
It's a good problem to have.
It
yes,
is a
every
problem.
meeting, everyone always says, this is so hard, they're all amazing.
I know.
And but the neat thing is, there's this little ripply effect of all three of them, you know, they gain the audience of these women who really care about stuff like this. Right. And even when they don't win the funds that time,
right?
A lot of times they're winning volunteers. Sometimes they're still winning donations.
Right.
If nothing else, it's creating an awareness.
That's right.
And putting it into the hands of people who are ready to share.
Yeah, exactly.
As well. So it's just a win-win all around.
Well, good job there, my friend. I tell you.
Is this enough cheese?
This is, yeah, I think it's just looking great. So we are going to end up then popping these in the oven, a 425 oven, for just until basically the cheese melts and it warms up a little bit. And then I think we are going to be good to be able to share our first bites and just see what we think of our creations here.
Wonderful.
And that is what I guess we hope to with the recipes that are in the Good Food Box, that it just does inspire the people that receive the box to, you know, think about, okay, what can I use to be able to utilize all of the ingredients in the box? And I think never before, we have our stats that 1 in 10 Albertans and Calgarians are fighting with food insecurity. And it's a tough time of the year for so many people. And as last year we put a campaign forward about giving a good food box forward. And this was just such a blessing to so many families. And so we will have that website available where you can donate a good food box to a family in need over the holidays. And sometimes they will get what they need for the holidays, but maybe January, February, March, that might even be where the need even hits harder. So we will have these boxes then available. So stay tuned, please, for that website. So we're going to just pop these in the oven.
Okay.
And we're going to be good to go. So I think now we can have those first bites of our appies that we've put together, and I just hope that you will enjoy them as well, that our viewers will make the recipes, and at some point we're hoping to get interactive, that maybe they can send their photos of their food back to us as well. So
that's a great idea.
May I just dish you up a couple of potato skins here?
Please, thank you.
There we go.
Thank you, those look so good.
Wow, very good. Well, you know, I think it's been such a pleasure to get to know Alison on a different level, because when we see how professional that her and Christy are, on the Zoom meetings and the adjustments that you've made to make everything work for COVID. It really makes us very, very proud, because you know that doesn't happen easily, but you gals just do it so seamlessly. It's just an absolutely beautiful thing. So thank you so much for that.
Well, we're super happy to do it. I'm very lucky to have Christy as a partner. I think we just work so well together.
So well.
And it's just wonderful.
It's a beautiful harmony, it really is. And then what about some vegetables? But you know what? I think you want to just help yourself to a few vegetables. Is great.
I'll use these little hands.
Absolutely. Use the little hands, the little clappers.
Cute.
And so something I did not know about Alison is that she is also a photographer. And so that is just really, really cool. I went on your website. I just, I loved she had one cool picture of children looking through the Viewmaster. So I think that was one of my favorites, I have to say.
Thank you. That is an award-winning image.
Oh,
more than
is
once.
it?
Yes.
Oh, well, it definitely was an award-winning photo. There is no doubt about that. So I love that. So I know that you're super talented. You've got an eye for what you want to portray, and you can see that. And we hope that if someone is, well, number one, you need to sign up for 100 Women Who Care. And then when you're looking for an excellent photographer, then please check out Alison, because I think, pardon me, you're going to be really, really thrilled with her work as well.
Thanks, Judy. From another visual artist, that is high praise.
Oh, well, you know what? I think we just have to all work together and celebrate what we do as women, because it is important. And whatever we can do to help other women succeed and to get to their goals, right? That is what we want to do. And the community kitchen last year was the incredible recipient of over $20,000 from the 100 Women Who Care. And that means, actually that was 2 years ago, that this spring we will be able to then reapply.
That's right.
Sunday, our CEO, did just an incredible job of sharing her heart and her soul on that episode, and that's, I'm pretty sure, why we ended up winning. And so we look forward to that. We'll have a few bites here and just kind of and see what you think.
You guys were our first pandemic recipients.
Oh, that's right,
Is
too.
that right?
Yes.
Should be. Yeah, and it was funny because when COVID hit, if we can all remember back to that panic, actually a friend of mine who is runs a chapter in Ontario called and we chatted about it, because she said, well, the ladies here are talking about postponing, putting it off till September when everything goes back to normal, which looking back is funny, but and not funny. And you know, the question amongst all the founders was, you know, what should we do? Should we just put it off till we can meet in person again? And for Christy and I, there was no doubt that this is the time when you have to step up.
Exactly.
It's not the time to pause. This is the time when the need was even greater. So we just, you know, thankfully with technology these days, we just went right on Zoom.
That's right.
And I think you've been there in person and on Zoom, and amazingly, it's still really heartwarming.
It is.
Inspiring and fun, engaging experience. So we do look forward to getting back to in person and, you know, hugging people again.
That's right, exactly.
But the good work is still being done, and we're so pleased. And I can tell you as well that a lot of our members did reach out to say how grateful they were that we continued.
Yes, exactly.
Because during lockdowns and things like that, things like this and being able to take part was really meaningful.
Yes, I think so too. And I think when we look at the mental health of people, that we really are blessed if we can take in part or be a part of something that's very positive that we know can make a change. Because I think that also kind of touches our heart and our soul to say that even when things are kind of out of our control around us, we can still be part of a beautiful change. Well, let's have a couple of bites here, and then let's see what you think.
Okay.
So is it going to be the potato first, or what's
Let's
it
do
gonna
it. Okay, I'm in. This could get ugly.
Now, when I did make some of these last night, and my husband said, he said you can kind of feel the back heat from the jalapeno just kind of lingering in your mouth after.
This is absolutely as delicious as it looks. These are really good. That's a winner.
That's a winner. Well, perfect. I think also the wonderful part of continuing with the 100 Women during the COVID is that a lot of the donations were very down, and the funding has been complicated. So I think for these agencies then also to get the gift of over or $20,000 at the minimum is just will put their programs over the top, because I think they are reaching a whole different dynamic of people during COVID. And so I think having that funds there, having the support of over now 200 women in the chapter, right? Is just also just an incredible feat.
Well, the amazing thing is our donations have remained fairly stable. When the pandemic hit, we recognized what a hard time, we were already in a downturn here in Calgary. People are losing their jobs. So we're gaining and losing members all the time. But what we wanted to do was let our members know, you know what, usually it's $100 commitment for each meeting. So for $100 donations each year. But during the pandemic, we're just going to say give what you can, because we don't want people to have to leave our membership. And by the way, it's 100% to charity. There's no membership dues or anything. Right. We're literally here just as a conduit to give to charities like you, like yours. And so we said, just give what you can, because we would rather you gave $20, $50, whatever, instead of leaving.
Right.
Because this is still going to make a really big difference because we're doing it together. So some people took us up on that, and they had to give less because they were struggling.
Right.
But they're still able to be an equal part.
Right.
Some people even gave more. And it's incredible.
Yeah, it does. Well, it brings out the emotions, and it brings out also that Calgarians are so generous at heart. And this is what we so appreciate about just being in the city, being a non-for-profit. We know it's tough, but it is charities like yours, when we can partner up, that it just makes the future brighter for us all. And so I thank you so much for coming and being my guest.
My pleasure.
I just really hope that before the next meeting, which is this Tuesday, that you will go to the 100 Women Who Care Calgary website, that you'll check it out, that you will register, pay your $100 so that you can vote then for the Tuesday meeting. And so maybe it's a good idea to make this your weekend project, to get on there, register, and then you'll have a vote on Tuesday. So we wish all of you, thank you so much for being my guests. We wish the viewers just a wonderful and a happy and safe holiday. We hope that you can be together now with your friends and your family, and just make the end of 2021 just spectacular. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.
Hi, I'm Sunday Nordine, CEO of Community Kitchen. Thank you for watching this episode of Cooking in the Community Kitchen. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a recipe. And if you'd like to learn more about our programs or would like to make a donation, please visit us at ckpcalgary.ca.